Hello and welcome guys. Welcome to our fifth session of responsive web design certifications. Today we're gonna tackle the responsive web design principles. I already answered three because I wasn't able to click the record earlier. So we're gonna start over. Introduction to the responsive web design challenges. Today there are many types of devices that can access the web. They range from large desktop computers to small mobile phones. These devices have different screen sizes, resolutions, and processing power. Responsive web design is an approach to designing web content that responds to the constraints of different devices. So I'm gonna leave it here for you to read. Just pause it and let's go to the first lesson. Create a media query. So these ones are techniques to add a CSS rule based on a certain condition. So this is an example, medium in height. So what we're gonna do here is add the media query so that the p tag has a font size of 10 pixels when the device height is less than or equal to 800 pixels. So basically we need to create a media. Don't forget the @ and then the condition max width is 800 pixels, and here comes the rules. So if ever the conditions are met, the font size of p tag will become 10 pixels. So that's it. It becomes 10 pixels. Run the test. Okay, you should declare a media query for max height. 75% because I already answered 3 out of 4 questions. So next lesson, make an image responsive. So making images responsive with CSS is actually very simple. You just need to add these properties to an image. So it's pretty straightforward. You just need to add these properties to an image. So add the style rules to the responsive image class to make it responsive. Okay, after you added the code, resize the preview. So let's try it. Add the max width here and resize the preview. So as you can see, it's changing. And then run the tests. Let's go to the next challenge. Use a Retina image for higher resolution images. So with the increase of internet connected devices, their sizes and specifications vary, and the displays they use could be different externally and internally. Pixel density is an aspect that could be different on one device from others, and this density is known as pixels per inch or dots per inch. The most famous such display is the known as Retina display on the latest Apple MacBook Pro notebooks and recently iMac computers. So due to difference in pixel density between the Retina and non-Retina displays, some images that have not yet been made with a higher resolution display in mind could look pixelated when rendered on a high resolution display. So the simplest way to make your images properly appear on high resolution displays such as the MacBook Pros is to define their width and height values as only of the half of the original file is. So here is an example of an image that is using only half of the original height and width. So as you can see, its original height is 500, both height and width, and to make it a Retina image for higher resolution displays, they reduce it in half. So let's try to set the width and height of the image tag to half of their original values, and in this case both the original height and the original width are 200 pixels. So let's add the image here and set the height and width 200 pixels. Run test, and there we go. The last lesson. Oops. What's happening? No money. Responsive web design principles make typography responsive. So instead of using M or PX to size text, you can just wait a minute. Okay. You can use viewport units for responsive typography. Viewport units like percentage and relative units, but they are based of different items. Viewport units are relative to the viewport dimensions, width or height of a device, and percentage are relative to the size of the parent container element. So the four different viewport units are VW, the viewport width, would be 10% of the viewport's width, and the viewport height, the VH. So the B min is the viewport minimum, 70 BMIN would be 70% of the viewport's smaller dimension, and Vmax is 100% of the viewport's bigger dimension. Okay, here is an example that sets a body tag to 30% of the viewport's width. So set the width of the H2 tag to 80% of the viewport's width. H2 tag is 80% of the viewport's width. 80% of the viewport's width. And what happened? And the width of the paragraph of the viewport's smaller dimension, 75 beaming. Is that correct? Okay, let's just try to. Okay, so that's it. Join me to the next session, which is the flexbox challenges.